Good evening, Cumberland County Schools. I'm Lindsay Whitley, the Associate Superintendent for Communications and Community Engagement. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. When families and educators join forces, amazing things happen in the lives of our young people. As part of our strategic plan here in Cumberland County Schools, we launched Cumberland Family Academy during the 2020-2021 school year. Since launching Cumberland Family Academy, we have continued to listen to families to create innovative ways for you to receive information and receive resources to support your children. Tonight, I am extremely excited to present our next session in our master classes for today's Families series. Our topic this evening is one of my favorite topics, building a love for literacy. And we're very excited to have a very special guest, children's author, Dr. Kimberly Johnson. Now, let me tell you just a little bit about Dr. Johnson. She received her doctorate in curriculum, teaching, and leadership from Northeastern in Boston, Massachusetts. She has authored 22, yes, you heard that correctly, 22 children's books and counting. Her most recent book, It Starts With Me, was co-written with Dr. Bernice A. King, the youngest child of civil rights leaders, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. She currently serves as an assistant professor at Clemson University and an early literacy lead instructor for the National Head Start Association's Bias Busters program. Now, Dr. Johnson is passionate, and you will see that in a few minutes. She's very passionate about education, but she's even more passionate about making sure that educators and families know their value. She grew up in a household with grandparents who could not read or write, yet they encouraged her to be the best person she could be. Now, she has committed her life's journey to empowering other children to know that they can succeed no matter what. So please, tonight, as Dr. Johnson is speaking, be sure to engage with her in the comment section. You can post your questions, your comments, your responses. I promise you it's going to be fun and interactive. Dr. Johnson will also answer some of your questions tonight, so make sure you list them in the chat. Now, without further ado, help me, Cumberland County Schools, join me in welcoming Dr. Kimberly Johnson to Cumberland County. Dr. Johnson.
Yay, awesome. Dr. Whitley, thank you so much for that great introduction. And you know, I feel so blessed to be back per se in Cumberland County. You know, I tell people all the time, that's where I really got my roots. My husband was military, so I am very familiar with Cumberland County area. It was good to us in our lives. He has since retired and we have moved to South Carolina, but trust me, we still have lots of friends and connections in Cumberland County. So I'm not going to say hello, Cumberland County. I'm going to say hello, family, because that's what you are there. So thank you for joining me tonight in this amazing master class. Thank you, Cumberland County Schools, for your passion and your willingness to continue to empower our young people to be the best they can be. But we all know that you all, families, are the first teachers in a young person's life, and your work makes them who they are. Just as Dr. Whitley shared with you about my upbringing with grandparents who could barely read or write, they were the best, and they gave me the best parts of me. So I want you to know before we even get started tonight that you are truly the best of the best. Families, remember, you're the best of the best. You'll always be challenged and put to the test, but stay focused and clear on what you must do. Change lives, build dreams, and help them come true. You may be the one that makes families believe that they're worthy, intelligent, and able to achieve. So forget that you're tired and your worn mental state. Our children need us right now before it's too late. Continue to do the best that you can. Be consistent, persistent, and have a good plan. And I bet that our communities get just what they need: respect, good values, and the abilities to succeed. You are all the best of the best, and you truly are that. So I am very honored to be in your presence tonight to talk to you about what we all know is that literacy makes us who we can be, and it helps encourage us to work harder so that we become the very best. So I'm going to take you now to my PowerPoint presentation, but as Dr. Whitley did tell you all, I am not one to just sit and talk to a screen. I need my family, and remember, you guys are my family. I need my family helping me. So I will implore you to please step up and help me as I share some great information and ideas with you. Also, I want you to understand too that we're talking about something that all of us are capable of doing. You know, my grandparents were not very literate. My grandmother had about a third grade education, and my grandfather could not read or write at all, but he was adamant about his children and his grandchildren getting a great education. So I want you to understand that literacy and learning are for all of us. It is indeed a family affair. And that means that we're constantly looking for ways to plant seeds of success, planting seeds of greatness so that our young people and our communities become stronger each day. And we can do that with the hard work that we put into it from the beginning. Here's what we know. We know that teachers work hard. You guys have amazing teachers in Cumberland County, and this is the great thing. I can speak from firsthand experience because I was in the area. So I'm familiar with the hard work that Dr. Whitley and his team are doing, and the rest of the teachers who are passionate and advocates in your community who are passionate about seeing your students and your communities thrive. So I know the teachers there work hard, but a family has the ability to create the big change. And when I talk about the big change, I'm talking about things like direction, whether children learn to do right or wrong. Those things begin at home. I remember hearing my grandmother used to always say, charity starts at home. And that is a fact. You know, you learn those basic thank you, please manners at home, and then you take them out into the community. So a home is a space to learn the right and wrong way to operate socially in the world. And those things are embedded from that first moment that our children come into our lives. And then we also have the ability to change the path. Just because my grandparents couldn't read, they were determined that their grandchildren and their children were going to be literate. So they made sure that we didn't go down the same path. Not that they were on a bad path, they just wanted more for us, like we want for our children. We want more for them. And we also have the ability to change the environment that our young people live in. You know, we have different environments that we operate in. You all, if you're working, you have a work environment. If you're in school, you have a school environment. If you're at home, you have a home environment. So we have different environments that we navigate daily. So we've got to be able to know how to operate in each of those environments. And families have the ability to help us do that. When we pour into our children questions and ideas and information, we're teaching them how to operate in different environments that they will encounter. And also, we have a story to tell. All of us have a story. Your story is not my story. My story is not your story. Each of our stories are individual and unique to who we are. Just like we all have our own fingerprints, we all have our own stories. We have our own experiences, and my lived experience will not be yours, but we can find ways to connect together through those experiences. And literature is a great way to bring experiences together. I can learn about people that don't look like me just by opening a book. You can learn about people that don't look like you, or don't think like you, or don't dress like you, just by opening a book. These things are valuable to the life that we can build for our families and our children. So teachers are amazing. We always know that. I'm going to give them a round of applause, but we also know that you, my family, are the most valuable ones in our children's lives. In other words, families are the first teachers. Yes, that's right. You are educators, and you are teaching your children how to interact how to engage, and how to be the best part of yourselves, because you are leading them into those great paths. And also understanding that the dynamics of what families look like today are different. We don't just have a mom and a dad in the household anymore. You may be raised by grandparents, like in my case, or you might be an auntie or an uncle who are raising a child. That doesn't negate our responsibility or the opportunity to provide that great piece of literature that's going to give them success as they progress through life. So let's get started. How are we going to progress through this amazing masterclass? I'm going to give you the word family, because that is a powerful word. And again, family is going to look different for all of us. But when we think about what does it truly mean to tie literacy with family, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to take the time that I have with you tonight, and I'm going to break each component of this down. And we're going to talk about how we can continue to combine literacy, literature, and family lifestyle, because all of that needs to be synonymous. It goes together. Family, F, fun for all. Reading and literacy and literature matter. A, attitude, valuing a love of it. M, make literacy a part of your life. It has to be everything that we do. It has to be components of it that we see as the children, young people are going through their educational journey. I, invest in the community. You know, I once read that a calm sea does not make for a skillful mariner. That means if you had to be out here on this road all by yourself, trying to help your children find the resources they need, making sure they were prepared for the testing that they'll have in their future, or making sure that they have all the resources they need, we would be overwhelmed. But the beautiful thing is that we have community that we can invest in, work together with, and together create the space that we can grow and thrive. And that's what I said. You have a great space there and resources right there in Cumberland County that are willing to stand up and say, yes, I need you to invest in this community so we all can grow. And then L, learn together, build your vocabulary. I love this section, and we're going to have a great time doing this, because I think when you build vocabulary, young people get an exposure and they get an open door to all kinds of learning that perhaps you and I may not have ever experienced. But the world today, they have access to incredible knowledge, and building vocabulary is a part of that knowledge. And then finally, why? You got this. Together, we're going to do it. We're going to have strategies that I'll share with you for future successes and how we can build the components of literacy and learn together. All right, here we go, guys. F, fun for all. This is the house I grew up in as a little girl. And you can see we were, by most definition, poor people, but I thought I had everything I needed growing up in that house. And I did. I had loving grandparents who were willing to take the time and spend it with me to help me learn, to help me figure out how to gain life skills and how to just be a good human being. And that's so important in our world today. If we can teach our children these things, they can navigate a lot of the other journey that they'll have in their life. But fun for all means that we all get a piece of the pie. That doesn't mean that just because you come from this side of town or this side of town or this background that you can't have learning and literacy. It is something that all of us should have access to. And the more we engage in our community and the resources, the more of that pie we get to take with us. And we all want a piece of the pie. And I know my grandparents, they didn't have the knowledge base to help me, but they reached into the community and they found different programs, early childhood programs that were available that would help me learn what I needed to. So parents, you may feel defeated at some points. You may feel that you don't know how to do it, but I promise you there is a resource that's willing to help you get a piece of the pie of literacy and learning. And then reading and literacy do matter. The knowledge that we can share with our children through books and experiences can set them up for a lifetime. I remember one time when I was a little girl, I always wanted to go to the beach, but we didn't have money to go to the beach. But my grandmother would put bottle caps. If you remember the glass bottles, that the Coca-Colas and things like that, she would pop those lids off and she would put them on dirt, and we would put the dirt on the porch, and those were my seashells, and the dirt was the sand. And she would buy like little plastic cups and put spoons in them, and those would be my pails, and I would scoop up the dirt and put it in there. My imagination took me to incredible places. So reading and literacy give you an opportunity to just take a book, open it up, and explore the world in ways that you could never imagine. So don't think that, well, we don't have any money, so I can't take them to the beach. Then parents, create the beach, because that is the reading and literacy that I'm talking about. When you get that imagination sparked in our young people, they're going to look for places that they can go on their own. So after I went to the beach, I went to Europe, I went to China, I went all over the world with my imagination through books. And books give us the power to do that. A book can open your mind to great ideas. A book is a tool that can build a believer. There's no time in the day for an underachiever. Focus on the future and develop a plan. Believe in yourselves, because I know that you can. A book is an amazing tool. And remember, it's not where we are right now, but it is where we will go. Just go. And here's my picture when I finished up my doctorate at Northeastern. I never thought I would be in that spot, but my grandparents often knew, because they said, if you just learn, if you keep working hard, if you keep believing, you can do anything in the whole wide world. And so those messages, families, are what we want to build in our children, so that first and foremost, they believe in themselves to know that literacy and learning can be theirs. A, family, attitude, valuing a love of learning. Now, how do we get kids? And we know that sometimes kids, I mean, this technology, man, don't we love it? But it's wonderful, and I'm not knocking it by any means, because we all live by it. But sometimes just taking the time to sit together with a good old-fashioned book and sit there and turn the pages is priceless. So don't let those moments slip away from you. And I do implore you to make sure that technology is a part of their lives is important, but also just make sure that sitting down with a book will help show them what it looks like to love learning and literacy. That value of learning to read, and that value of looking at pictures and talking about the pictures and building from that imagination can begin to grow and start building lots of seeds. Now, I've also heard parents say, well, I am so glad my child is in 4th grade. I am so glad my child is in middle school, so I don't have to sit and read with them anymore. Nope. It still matters. I don't care how old they are, share literacy with your young people. If they love sports, then buy books about the sports they love and sit and talk about the pages or the articles or the information in the books. Literacy is something that is lifelong. Don't think that just because your children are learning how to read and they are doing their work on their own, that they won't enjoy spending time with you. So how do we get that attitude right? How do we say literacy is important? I want you to love it. I love it. I need you to love it. Well, number one, we've got to encourage children to work hard and practice their reading. And that doesn't mean just at school. Yes, teachers do a great job, but when they come home, we want to make sure that they're reading something. 20 minutes a night, 15 to 20 minutes is ideal. But if you don't have time, and we get it, schedules and time is so short in the evenings, at least make sure you're lying on the couch together, or before they go to bed, let them tell you a story to spark that imagination. And if you have time, maybe just look at a quick article or something that they're interested in and read that to them as they're getting ready for bed, or if you have a few minutes to do it. A few minutes is better than 0 minutes. Keep that in mind. Love, if you could get 15 to 20, that will be amazing, but I'll take a few minutes. It's better than none. So encourage children to work hard and practice their reading and listen, listen, and listen. Show them that you are proud of their efforts with high fives and hugs. If they learned a new word and they share that word with you, that is awesome. Yes. And then hugs, I am so proud of you. Those high fives and hugs are going to go a long way. And know that they're never too big for high fives and hugs. Give them the opportunity to engage with you and see how excited you are about literacy and learning. That's the attitude part. Give them opportunities to get it right without immediate negative responses. Sometimes we get so caught up in if it's not perfect, if it's not right. We want our children to learn to do things exactly the way they need to so that they can stay ahead and caught up with their work in school. But also you got to give them time and space to make mistakes. And it's okay if they don't say the word just right. It's okay if they don't spell the word just right. But if they're willing to continue trying and they're not afraid to at least practice it, the more they practice it, the better they will get. Then you are showing them that your attitude is, I'm just excited that you're willing to try and work. So have a value and love of learning and literacy, and that attitude speaks volumes. I want to ask you, I'm going to take a second here, and Dr. Whitley, if you can help me with this, I want to ask you, what were some of your favorite books when you were children growing up? I have to admit, I was a cat in the hat, Dr. Seuss kind of girl. I love that sing-songy rhymes. And you'll hear some of my poetry throughout this masterclass, and you're going to kind of say, oh, that does kind of sound a little bit like Dr. Seuss. I want to be individual, but I did draw from his experiences and his rhymes. So it made me who I am today with my writing, growing up on that. Dr. Whitley, what was one of your favorite books? Do you mind sharing?
I don't. I would definitely have to say the Boxcar Children,
Oh,
Amelia
yeah.
Bedelia. So
Oh,
many
yeah.
great memories.
Oh, yeah, those were great books. I love those too. But anything that you grew up on, and I was a Nancy Drew, what were the other, Hardy Boys, those when I grew up, you know, I couldn't do picture books forever. I had to get to the chapter books. So when I did, I got to the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. Is our audience participating? I hope you guys are.
We have 2 comments so far. We have
Okay, keep
one
them
all
coming.
around the neighborhood. We have
Oh,
another
yeah.
one, the Boxcar Children, the Giving Tree.
Oh, yeah. That was Shel Silverstein. You remember that one, Dr. Whitley?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, it was it was so simple. It was black and white sketches throughout the book. And it was about a
Okay.
tree that just gave and gave and gave till I had nothing left to give. Like us parents, you know how we feel sometimes at the end of the day.
I know. I see another one. Junie B. Jones, Goosebumps, The Babysitter's
Yes.
Club.
Oh man, we got some young parents out there. I need somebody to go back into the archives. Beatrix Potter, where are my old people at? I love it. Those are great stories. So yes, think about the books that you all loved growing up and share some of those books with your children. That's how you build that value, because you love those stories as kids, right? So you want to bring those stories back into their lives as they are growing up and really understanding how powerful literacy is. We're going to have some more fun, you guys, because it's the end of the work day and we are here together as a family, sharing our ideas. I want to have a little bit of fun. Now, we know that some children will grab a book and they will read every single thing you put in front of them because they love literacy and learning so much. The seeds have been planted. They love literacy. They love their teachers. They love coming home. They love all that. But then sometimes we have to pull a little harder to get some of our sweet angels to really open up a book and begin reading. And so I thought I'd have a little fun with these memes. And the first one is a child. And I want you guys to get creative for me because remember, imagination is important. I want you to type in your chat for me what this first meme, look at the body language, that tells you everything. What would that child say about reading based on the body language? What are some of the things that that look tells you? I'll give you a second or two to type in, make it good. That's a child. You said, okay, I need you to read this book for me. What are they saying?
We have one of our first comments. They said, say what?
And that is true. Sometimes you are going to get that look.
what? Read?
I tell you, I remember I wasn't a huge reader. I remember in like middle school, but I picked it up again in high school because I had to start reading and I had college on my mind. So I was always reading, but I don't think middle school wasn't a good spot for me, but I had amazing teachers who really just made the information pertinent to what I liked, you know, and so they were able to do that and get me engaged. So I always encourage teachers to find things that the students like, and for parents, find things that your children like. If they love sports, buy books on sports. If they love Barbie dolls or making jewelry, buy books on jewelry and Barbie dolls, whatever it takes, get them engaged. Do we have anything else, Dr. Whitley?
We have a few more responses. Our superintendent, Dr. Connolly, his response is, are you serious? Another one, that's a big book. Reading takes too long, not happening. So lots of great responses in the comments.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's change gears. We're moving from the parents from the children to the parents. That's us, y'all. So look at that image there, and I want you to make a meme. What is that parent number 2 or that meme number 2 saying? It's a parent.
Why me? Another one. Yay, you learned it.
Yes, but I want to address the first one first. Why me? Because you are the first teachers. That's why. And you are amazing and you rock and you got this thing. You just got to get out there and make it happen. So yes, that's why you. Anything else for my parents?
We have another one. This is a good one. They said, praise the Lord, they are reading.
I love it. I love it. No, and you feel that way, that excitement, that energy, even when they learn how to spell words. I mean, I can tell from my own experiences, if they spell that word and they get it right each time without any help from me, it is like, hallelujah, we did it. So celebrate those moments. Don't wait till they learn how to spell the 17-letter word. Do it if they get the 4-letter word right. So do those small words too. They count as well. So praise them for that. And that shows them the attitude is reading is important. Literacy is great. I want you to have some of that. So use that. Okay, we got a couple more memes and then we're going to get serious again. Okay. This one is number 3. Oops, let me go back. Sorry. Number 3. This is a parent again. Now, as you can see, we have not had we had a parent back here. That was a totally different vibe from this parent right here. So I need, what does this parent say to us? And there will be parent days like this. There will be hopefully more days like this, parents, less days like this, but this is reality. So what is this dear, dear parent saying to us when it comes to reading?
Ooh, let's get a tutor. That's what one parent is saying. That's one comment. Just read the book. Just read the book, please. Here we go again.
Thank you for your honesty and candor, parents. That is beautiful. Okay, last one is a teacher. Now, this is not what I normally see when I think of teaching. And I'm sure there are no teachers in Cumberland County who look like this. But if there were, what do you think this particular teacher might say? What is the vibe from this teacher? Somebody help me. Take a second. Look at the body language. Feel the energy.
I'm too tired to beg you to read.
Poor babies. Those teachers work so hard. Give me a couple more, Dr. Whitley.
I know you know this. That's from another person commenting. Why is he on my roster?
Again, this is nothing as a reflection of Cumberland County, because that teacher would not be in Cumberland County. She would not be in Cumberland County. We already know. All right, you guys, let's keep it moving. So we're talking about family. F-A. F is fun for all. Everybody gets to participate in literacy. It doesn't matter your socioeconomics, your background, your gender. It doesn't matter. Reading is for everybody. So that's the F. A is your attitude. Is your attitude saying, yes, I can do this. I'm excited. I'm going to pour this into my children. My family is going to get it. We're going to be amazing, literate people. So that's the A, making it happen and getting that attitude. And then M is make literacy part of your life. That means every single day you want to make sure that you are connecting with literacy, literature, and learning. Everything around you can be literacy. Stay connected with community resources. If there's a community read going on, if the library is having something, go check it out. Make sure you're staying connected. Do those fun things together as a family. You know, I think we blame everything on COVID. And even though COVID was horrendous, we don't ever want to have to go through anything like that. And we're not done with it, but we're better than we were. But that really shut us down and made us have to stay inside and not really engage and interact with others. But we are slowly getting to a space and a place where we can do community things. So I want you guys to get back out there at your own safety level and start connecting and really making literacy a part of your everyday adventure in life. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're not sure about a resource that's available, ask about it. If you're not sure if your child is where they need to be on the learning scale, ask about it. But also keep in mind, because this is what research tells us, that children are going to learn at different paces. So I don't want you getting too wound up if they're not getting it at the pace you feel they should. If there's something that is a concern to you, absolutely don't be afraid to ask questions and follow through. You may need some assistance. It may be speech, it may be a tutor, as someone said, but find those resources and don't be afraid to ask and really delve into how you can get everything you need for your child so that they are indeed thriving. And more than just books, look at magazines and cereal boxes and instruction pamphlets and directions. Look at things like that, because all of that is literacy as well. Sometimes I used to give my kids the map and I would say, okay, figure out where we're going. And they're like, I don't know what this means. Then look at the key. Learn how to use the key. Let's look at that. That's here. Now figure out where we need to go. And they would think of it as a great adventure. So give your kids opportunities to do things that are great adventures. You may give them an index card and give them a cereal box. Set the cereal box on the table, give them the index card and a pencil and say, okay, I want you to write down any word that you see that starts with P. It may be protein. It may be peanuts, anything they can find on that box. It may be Cocoa Pebbles. It's too much sugar. Don't use that one. Disclaimer, I don't work for any other cereal company. But find things that they can write from the cereal boxes onto this index card. That's literacy, that's learning. And then go back and read what they found in that cereal box and share it with siblings. All sit down and talk about it. Are these things healthy? Are these things we want in our food? Are these things we might not want? What does that mean? Well, let's look it up. All of those things can be simple things that don't cost anything to do and are really great ways to connect. So make literacy part of your life. In the mornings, when you're getting ready for school, as you're running out the door, maybe as they're getting ready to get on the bus or you're getting on the bus, start spelling words. I'm going to put on my shoe, S-H-O-E. I've got to comb my hair with the comb, C-O-M-B. So you're spelling things as you're doing things. That's literacy. That's a part of your life and learning. So don't negate those simple things. Now, this picture here is who we are. This is what we're made up of, our DNA, if you will. And literacy needs to be a part of all of these things. If we're going to look at education, you know, the graduation cap here, we're going to have to be a part of learning and not being afraid to question and find out as much information as we can about different things in the community or even about the world that we live in. We don't want to live just in our community anymore. We want to build global learners. We want our children to be exposed to the world, not just communities. It used to be fine to do that 20, 30, 40 years ago, but now our young people have so much more access. And so we want to make sure that they're familiar with global thinking. So it's not too early to start those ideologies of what the world looks like at large. But every piece of who we are is a part of what we can become. And all of these things are embedded in literacy. And you see the money here, the money that you may make one day, it may be based on how much knowledge you have. You know, when you start getting that education that is a critical piece to learning and success, you're going to probably start making more money. I also know that college isn't for everyone, but literacy is, because if you want to even be a business owner who is not college educated, you still have to know how to read, look at contracts, look at information. You're owning a business, so you have to be smart in that way. And literacy is going to be a part of that knowledge base. So all of these things culminated together make us who we are. And then we become this amazing, wonderful individual who is interwoven with literacy and learning. But still, after all of that, y'all, I told you, you still can't get your babies to love learning. I've done everything. I've read cereal boxes. I've taken them to the library. We've gone and played games. What if they still don't have a love for it? Well, guess what? All is not lost. How do we get children and families to participate in literacy activities and learning? I call it my IPC method. IPC: imagination, participation, and commitment. So the imagination allows children to use their imagination. And sometimes quirky and corny is good. When I think about it, my grandmother went out there and grabbed dirt out of the yard, put it on our porch, made a horrible mess, put bottle caps down as seashells, and got a cup with the spoon. And that was my pail with my shovel. That is kind of quirky, right? But she built an imagination that allowed me to know that I could create things even if I weren't in that space. So that imagination is an incredible tool that is going to help you build literacy and help children love activities. Don't be afraid to sit with even crayons, sitting down with crayons and being creative and using your imagination. We're going to do that right now, because I've got a box of crayons. So I'm going to pull a crayon out random. It's a green crayon, and you're going to use your space that you have there, and you are going to tell me as many things as you can think of that are green. Use your imagination. So Mr. Whitley, Dr. Whitley, we need some green things. As many as you can think of.
Okay, Cumberland County family, I want to see those comments.
Come on
Caterpillar.
now.
Caterpillar.
Okay, what else we got? Green.
All right, money, frogs, grass.
Give me two more.
All right, leaves, okra.
Yes, 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 yes. So here's what you do. Again, I want you to understand that literacy doesn't cost money to get. You know, we can buy books and we can buy great programs and curriculum, and those things are great to have. But I also want you to understand that literacy is something you don't have to go out and purchase. Literacy is everywhere around us. So you could get a crayon, a box of crayons, let them pull colors out, put the crayons on the table, and let them write anything that is that color. If green, they're writing frog, that they're learning F-R-O-G. They're learning money, they're learning grass, they're spelling it. If it's yellow or orange, I might say the sun, I might say an orange, I might say, what else is orange? Clemson Tigers. I'm in South Carolina, gotta love them. But we did have an interesting game with Carolina, because you know I'm a Chapel Hill grad. So I had a house divided this weekend, and I was a little stung, but you know, I'm in South Carolina, so I gotta love Clemson, I guess. Anything else orange? What you got, family?
All right, we have carrot.
I didn't think of that. That's good. Anything else? One more.
Oranges.
Hey, I'll take it.
They kind
Good
of
job.
cheated with that one. No, I'm joking.
We're gonna take it. Okay, so those kinds of things are literacy, and that's that imagination. So when you start doing fun activities like that, it's a little easier to transition into the reading, the sitting down with the book. Because now, if you got a tree in the book, you can start talking about things on that tree. It's got shiny leaves or it's got tall branches. So you can really take that imagination and look at pictures in books. Or if you're not reading picture books, because you've got these kids now that are reading chapter books, and I love it, you can read a paragraph and say, tell me what you imagine. It's a farm. Tell me what you see on that farm, and start getting their brains to really give you information. And that's where the participation comes in. When someone has their imagination ignited, they tend to participate more. So as you're reading books together or they're reading to you, say, close your eyes and describe that farm to me. You're reading about a beach, describe that beach to me. So really get them to start talking to you about what they imagine. That's that participation. Now, guess what? You've got commitment, because that imagination coupled with participation can encourage people to be committed to the activities. Now I can say, you know, that book we read the other night that had that amazing dragon in it? Yeah. Do you remember what that dragon was like? Yes, it had sharp teeth and it was blowing out flaming hot fire, and it had a magical tail. Yes, that. Let's read that book again tonight. Except tonight, I'm going to read some of it and you're going to read some of it back. So really putting that energy and enthusiasm into it. Make book reading something exciting. Because parents, if you say, oh, Lord, let's go ahead and get this 20 minutes over, this reading of the book, go get the book, let me read it to you. They're not going to be excited. You got to ham it up. You got to make literacy and learning fun, so they'll want to engage in it. So remember, IPC, if you're anywhere that you can jot this down, I want you to remember this: imagination, participation, and commitment. Those three things are going to get you what you need. Okay, let's see what else we have. Yes. So we are now to the I in family. Invest in the community. We can do this. And when I say invest in the community, I want you to participate in giving back to literacy and learning as well. You know, I love the towns and communities that have those little free libraries where you can go pull a book out and put a book back in. Take advantage of those. If you don't have one, maybe your church could have one outside of their building, or maybe, you know, if you're working in a job where your job is accessible to people, maybe you could have one there. Talk to your community about putting a little library there. Those things are invaluable to some children who may not have access. And I know we do a lot of the reading things in the summer, and that's all great. But in the winter, when it gets dark earlier, you know, sometimes you're sitting at home, you don't want to just sit on technology all night or watch TV. So kids need access to books. Libraries are going to give you great books, but you got to take those back a lot of the times. And if those free libraries are going to provide great literacy and literature for them, so invest in the community. Don't be afraid to go out and share. Use your library as a great resource. Create book drives. You know, we're coming up on the holidays. It may not be too late for you to do a book drive where you might take your child and you all pick out books to give away as gifts. Or you might find, go to a thrift store and find gently used books and donate them if you're able to do that in your community. So really invest in literacy, invest in the community. You're right there in that amazing Cumberland County. Find ways that you can give back as well, not just getting the books and reading them at home, but also sharing that love of literacy with others. We can all do this. We all have something that we can give and share together. Learn together. Interactions build vocabulary. And when we do this, we are starting to get our children to love reading, because a lot of times, and I've done questionnaires in some of my research, some children don't like to read because they don't know the word. And if they can't sound the word out or can't spell the word, they will run away from the literacy opportunity because they just don't feel that they're confident enough. That's why I said, parents, we have got to make sure that we are encouraging and empowering our children, even when they don't get it right. If they say it and it sounds close, encourage that. If they get it all the way, celebrate it. But even if they don't, still celebrate their efforts. That matters too. And the same thing applies to spelling. You don't have to spell it perfectly for me at first. If you at least try to spell it, I'm going to celebrate it. So we want our young people to know and build that confidence so they're not afraid to try to use big words or not afraid to learn to build their vocabulary. So learn together and it builds vocabulary. Okay, let's have some more fun. I'm going to give you some words and I'm going to tell you which word I want to do first because they'll be all on the page, but I'll mix them up. And I want you to give me a word to replace that. So parents, when you are, for example, cooking dinner and you say, my goodness, did you enjoy my dinner? And they say, yes, mom, yes, dad, that spaghetti was good. Good. I thought it was marvelous. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was stupendous. So you're going to start replacing some of their words with big kid words. That builds vocabulary. Because think about it, when our young people start taking these end of grade tests and things like that, they have to take as markers of their success and how they're learning and growing. We teach, and our teachers teach them to use context clues. What are the words around it saying? But if they don't understand the words around it, it doesn't matter how often you try to do context clues, they're not going to get it. Also, comprehension. Some of our children can read and read and read, but when you ask them what it meant, they're not comprehending it. So that's where that conversation has to be part of literacy. This is not just about you picking up a book and reading it. It is a lot deeper than that. We've got to have conversations so that children understand what text is about, not just that they can say the words. It's bigger than that. So vocabulary helps us learn together and have those conversations that build vocabulary that they can use to start expanding on what they already know. Okay, so let's have some fun. I'm going to give you a word and I want you to give me a big kid word in its place. Dr. Whitley, are we ready? Okay, the first word is eat. The teacher likes to eat the sandwich. Boring. Eat is a boring word. What's a better word than eat that I could use? We're going to get rid of some of these boring words and start replacing them with big kid words. What's a better word than eat? I need at least 4. I need 4 different people giving me a word. So we're going to do 4 for the word eat.
All right, we have consume. Everybody likes consume. We have 3 people using consume tonight. What else?
Eat. I don't just eat a sandwich. What do I do to it?
Devour.
Okay. So consume, devour, and it can be fun words. Remember, quirky is good.
Inhale.
Inhale. I'll take that. Give me one more.
All right.
Intake as well. Ingest.
Ingest. Intake.
Yes, I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, remember, parents, what I said, it can be quirky. So you can have the word crunch, munch, chew, bite, taste. All of those words are a lot better than hearing the word eat all the time. So have fun with it. Really get out there and just dig up as many words as you can. Okay, here's our next word, big. Boring. The big dog is sitting next to the car. Give me a better word than big. What's better than big? If it's big, it must be
enormous.
Yes, I'll take it. Give me 3 more.
Humongous.
I'll take it. Give me 2 more.
Gigantic.
I'll take it. Give me 1 more.
Massive.
I will take it. Awesome. So parents, these kinds of things, you could take, again, index cards. I use things that don't cost much. I use sticky notes. I'm sitting at my office table here. I just have sticky notes everywhere. You might could put sticky notes up on a wall somewhere and put the word eat, nice, good, big, little, just any words you can think of. And you could set a timer and play it as a game. Again, you want literacy to be fun. It can't be something that sit down and read a book, we're done. No, it's got to be fun, fun, fun. So you can put these sticky notes up on a wall and you can put them throughout the house. If you want them busy for 15, 20 minutes, put them all over the house. Put 30 30, 40 sticky notes. Just get them all ready and put them around the house, and they can go around the house and get all of them done. That is fun, and kids will enjoy doing that. I've done these things, and my kids love it. They're like, Mommy, can you put up some more sticky notes? And I'm like, yeah, while you're over there, I want you to dust off that table while you're there, and then put the word up. I'm just kidding. So finding words that they can replace with big kid words is a great way to get them engaged. So the word nice could become amazing, or it can become kind-hearted. The word good can be stupendous, amazing, phenomenal. The word little can become teeny or minute. So think of words that you can use that replace some of the boring words that our young people often hear. Now, here's another activity I want to share with you. And this one's kind of a fun one. And I'm going to try to angle my camera just a little bit here so you can see how I'm going to do this. These words, bevy, oust, apex, iota, dupe. These are words that I pulled from an SAT guide. And an SAT guide is the guide that we use to help. These are the words that we use to learn about, you know, these big words that I'm talking about, the context clues that I have to give when you're taking tests and all those kinds of things. So the key is start with small words, 4-letter words. I'm working on a book right now that's called 4-letter words your mama let you say. So if y'all can think about that, 4-letter words, not a good thing, right? But these are 4-letter words your mama let you say. So the first word is bevy. And when I give the word bevy, I make a V with my hand like this. And then I use my fingers and I show the kids what I say, what does this look like? If you looked up in the sky and you saw that, what would you say it is? So Dr. Whitley, I want you to help me. What would they see, or what would they see in the sky? Something that's like this, it would be what? Can you guys tell me? You look up in the sky, you see this. What are they? I can't hear you, Dr. Whitley.
We have birds.
Absolutely. A bevy is a flock of birds. And so B is your clue, because B for birds, and this B in the middle is the birds moving together across the sky. So a bevy is a flock of birds. So what I do is I figure out words that are SAT words, the higher order words, and then I teach them. Now, here's what research also tells us, is that children don't learn on a hierarchical level. In other words, if you say, well, my child's only 5 years old, they're not going to be able to know how to do that word. There is no research that substantiates that children learn on a hierarchical level. In other words, make it plain. There is nothing that says that they're only 5 or 6, they can't learn the words. If they can handle the word, give them the word. Because I have 5-year-olds, and when we're in the car sometimes and they're looking out through the sunroof or something, they'll go, Mommy, what's up? Like, that's so smart, brilliant, great. So we have to make sure that we are encouraging them and giving them the words, because that's how they start building vocabulary. Oust. I want you to, wherever you are, unless you're driving, I don't want you to do it if you're driving. Hold 2 fingers up like this and take, these are your magic fingers. And I'm going to take the word O-U-S-T and I'm going to simply slide the S down, and the word is out. So if you oust something, you put it out or you get rid of it. What would you oust from your refrigerator? Well, old food, of course. What would you oust from your closet? Clothes that you can no longer wear. So O-U-S-T, I'm going to slide the S out, and I've got the word out, and that's my clue. That's my definition. Apex. Taking your hands, making a big giant A like this, and the middle fingers are the A. So I push them up a little bit so it looks more like an A. And so this A, the apex, is the tip top of it. So the apex is the highest point of something. So the apex of a house would be a roof. Or the chimney. The apex of a birthday cake would be the candles. So the apex is the highest point of something. So again, A-P-E-X. 4 letters is all they have to learn. Now, the next word, iota. I make a big giant alligator mouth and I lift that alligator mouth up and I pull it down as if I'm going to chop on something. But guess what? I don't get my mouth all the way closed here. So an iota is a little bit. So something that is a little bit of something. The mouth is open just a little bit. You see, it didn't clamp all the way down. It's open a little bit. So iota. And when I get here, I stop and I leave some space. So I hold my hand up and I go iota. A little bit. So if you are drinking a drink and you have a little bit of drink left in the bottom, you have an iota. If I'm eating my dinner and I have a little bit of rice left on my plate, I have an iota of rice, a little bit. And then finally, this word, dupe, D-U-P-E. And your clue here is the letter D and the letter P. And I usually use a little d for that because if you flipped it up, it would look like a P. So I teach it with a little d. So D-U-P-E and D. And if you flipped it upside down, it would become the P. Those are your two clues, the D and the P. So to dupe is to do a prank. And that's how you remember that. So do a prank. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quiz. And yes, you're in class. This is a master class, is it not, Dr. Whitley? And in this class,
Yes.
you have a little quiz. Okay, so I want somebody to type in as quickly as you can, what is a apex? Here's your clue.
We have our first answer. Someone said highest point or high point.
You got it. Okay, what is an iota? Woo, you got these clues. I'm gonna stop giving clues. Stopping clues. Iota.
Okay, we have a response, a little bit, a little
Yes.
amount.
Yes, you got it. And one more, let me give it to you. Bevy. Oh, no, you did that one already. Y'all told me. What about oust? Oust.
All right, we have a response, put out, get rid of.
Yes, absolutely. Now, again, parents really teaching your kids these big order words. And when you hear kids that are in elementary school saying, I'm going to have to oust this trash from my backpack, you're like, oh, look at you knowing these big words. So it's so beautiful to hear them. So don't think that just because they're little, they have to learn little words. Learn big words. Those things matter when we're teaching our young people. And we want to make sure that we're keeping them engaged. And remember, IPC, imagination, participation, and commitment. The more I get them participating in literacy and literature, the more they're going to commit to it long term. So if we can find things that we can start them with loving to do and engaging in, then we're going to keep them long term. All right, I'm going to give your brains a break for just a second. Okay, and our next part here is this. ABCs, the ABCs of literacy. I'm just going to give you two ABCs that I want you to think about. And these start with A, a B, and a C. A, avoid. B, being. C, confusing. Avoid being confusing. So when you're communicating with your young people and you're getting them to tell you what stories are about, communication is critical to the success and understanding. Make sure that after you read a story, tell them, what was that story about? What happened first? What happened after that? What happened last? Getting them to put things in order so that they're learning how to comprehend as they're building their literacy skills. And then gain confirmation before you assume that your child understands. Did that make sense to you? Do you understand? tell me what I just said. Does that make sense? Get them to respond back to you so you're not just putting out, disseminating information and then moving to the next thing. Make sure they got it. So if you want to be great at building literacy, avoid being confusing when you're talking to your young ones about what you read or what you're reading. And the second one I want to give you tonight is autonomy brings confidence. A, B, C. Autonomy, B, brings C, confidence. And that means believe that children can achieve the tasks that they set out to do, that you set out to do. So when they believe that they can achieve it, they start moving towards it and they become better at it. Speak into existence what you want to see happen. I know you're going to do great on that spelling test. I know you're going to do awesome on reading that passage because you are a fantastic reader. I know you're going to be a great learner. So really start speaking into their lives what you see happening so they will start valuing it and believing it. Because if you're always saying, well, I know you're not going to participate. I know you're not going to want to do it. I know you don't like it. They're going to start internalizing that. That becomes their mode of operation. When they hear it, they absorb it because it has been written that you are what you are surrounded with. If you're surrounded with doubt and darkness and disappointment and lack, you're going to start consuming those things and you will be that when you walk into a classroom setting. But if you're surrounded with, I know you can do it, I believe in you, I have the confidence, just keep working hard, you can become successful. And that's how I think I got to this point, because in all truth, I shouldn't be here. I should not be here because I grew up in a household where I wasn't read to. I didn't have that literacy that was my foundation inside the household. I did have that great imagination piece, but the other pieces were missing. But yet I'm here as a children's author, as a college professor. It doesn't make sense, right? Well, here's what I know. When you are speaking into someone, it is called structural thinking. That means you're building the structure in their mind of what you see them becoming, and then they start adding the walls to it. So think of your work, parents, as a foundation, and then you start encouraging your children, and they start putting up the walls to this great building. And then before you know it, you got an incredible structure inside their mind that knows that they can be successful, that they can walk on this road of literacy and do great things with it. Know that your hard work will, capital W-I-L-L, will pay off. And it will, because you've got a great support system through the school systems. You've got a great community network. You're going to be successful. We just got to make sure we're following the plan and changing it as we need to get to better results. You got this. Why? Family. Expectations meet success. We are all in this together and can begin to create change if we are truly focused on the work. That means every day you got to wake up ready to make it happen. Your kids may not be excited about school. You got to pull yourself up and get them motivated to get them out the door and get them excited about learning. Stay connected with your teachers. Make sure that they know your commitment is there to make sure your child is getting everything they need and that you're going to be there to support. If they call you, they shouldn't have to beat down the door to get you to respond to something they need. Your teachers need you just like you need them. So we got to make sure that there's a bi-directional flow between the school and you, that they can find you if they need you, and that you are there and present in their life, present in their life. So that's how we're going to build that part of it. And then just believe in your abilities to succeed, and your children will see those efforts. If they see you reading, they're going to want to read. If they see you committed to their school, they're going to be committed to school. Now go be the coaches that you are. Every single day you are waking up. You are the first coach. You are getting them up, getting them fired up, ready to go to school so they can learn. And parents, you do a lot to keep your family, you do a lot to keep your family, work, and the community going. You can make it. Some days are going to be tough. Some days you're not going to feel like doing it because you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and you're tired. But I promise you, if you set it up, they will follow through. And if you have activities that they know they can do on their own, then you just say, hey, I need you to do that crayon activity for me. Pick 3 crayons and bring me something back. Or you may lie on the couch together and say, you know what, let's tell each other a story, or I'll start a story and you finish the story for me, and we'll go from there. Dr. Whitley, I'm going to demonstrate something and I'm going to need your help, sir. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're going to show our amazing parents how we can just take our imagination and run with it. Now, as a disclaimer, Dr. Whitley and I did not practice anything. What you hear is happening in live masterclass time. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, Dr.
Dr.
Johnson, that's a little scary. I'm not
I
prepared.
know, right? I know. Okay, so I'm going to start a story. And when I point to you, you've got to pick up where I left off, mid-sentence, mid-word, mid-breath, and keep the story going. And this is what parents can do on the couch with their kids. This is going to make them spontaneous, and this is going to make them have fun with literacy and learning. Okay, Dr. Whitley, don't even think about it. Just tell the story. Okay, here we go. This morning, as I was backing out of my driveway, I realized that suddenly I had hit
A squirrel. And I got out to make sure the squirrel was okay. And it was, because it ran by my car before I could back all the way out. So I left and went up to the stop sign.
And when I got to the stop sign, my phone rang. And guess who it was? It was
My supervisor asking me, was I ready for tonight's masterclass? And I said, yes. I talked to Dr. Johnson and she's ready to go.
the end.
That was hard.
Fun. And that's what I want you to do. And what I loved about that, Dr. Whitley, is as you were doing it, you laughed. And parents, that's what we want. We want to have fun with literacy. We want to learn with our kids. And we want all of us to come together and really enjoy working and learning and playing in the same space. Literacy and learning should not be something that makes us sad or worried or stressed out. It should be something that we run to and embrace and figure out how we can get some more of it. So I'm going to go back real quick and I'm going to take you through family one more time so you don't forget what I said, or if you need to take a snapshot of this. Fun for all. Reading and literacy matter. Is for everybody. Everybody gets a piece of this pie. This is something we all can get. Attitude, valuing education, valuing literacy, valuing learning. Those things are part of our attitude on how we accept it and embrace it. Make literacy a part of life. Every day, there's something that we can read, learn, engage in, talk about. Communication is literacy. So make sure we're making literacy a part of our life every single day. Invest in the community. It's not just about your family and what you can do and how you can build, but how do we build together so we all learn? And then learn together. Build your vocabulary, learn new words together, look up stuff. If you're not sure what it means, let's look it up. Let's Google it. Let's find the information. So doing those things together as a family is going to also build literacy. And then why? You got this, because parents, you have an amazing ability to change the world. And all you have to do most of the time is just be willing and ready to build your mind. So I'll end it with a piece that I wrote called simply Build Your Mind. And it says, if you build your mind one day at a time and let your thoughts just flow, there's never a doubt or question at all as to whether ideas can grow. You have to believe that your mind is the best and that dreams can really come true, but most of all, believe in yourselves, and there's nothing that you can't do. So stop thinking can't and start thinking can by building a positive mind. Reach for success in all that you do and leave those negative thoughts behind. And if you do that, parents, you will be truly the best of the best. And that's it. Here's how you find me. Also, I have an Everyday Coaches 365 app, and that is with Apple and Google Droid. You can get it on there too. So just look for that little logo down there and 365. So Everyday Coaches 365. It's a motivational space that I'll drop tips on that you can share with your kids and your community. And it's just something fun to do. It's a free app. So just hang out with me and we'll learn together. Dr. Whitley, I'm going to give it back to you, my friend.
All right. Can we give it up for my good friend, Dr. Kimberly Johnson? Can we give her a virtual round of applause, everyone? Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. Tonight's session was so much fun. I learned so much tonight, and I'm looking at the comments. Everyone has truly engaged in tonight's session. We don't have a whole lot of questions tonight. I'm looking at the chat. I do see a question. Will this be available after the session? Yes, you will be able to come back here to our Facebook page and find tonight's session in its entirety. We will also share it on our other social media platforms in the very near future. We have a lot of great comments. They're showing you a lot of love. Dr. Johnson, everyone truly enjoyed tonight's session. So thank you so very much, Dr. Johnson, for sharing tips with our families to help build a love for literacy. You provided some unique tips to encourage literacy at home and help spark a love for reading. And I know without a doubt, this will certainly help our students become better readers. So thank you so much. And to you, our viewing audience, I know how busy your lives are. So to our parents, educators, and community members, thank you for hanging out with us tonight for our masterclass session through Cumberland Family Academy. We thank you so much for joining us. And remember, once again, if you missed part of tonight's session, you can watch it on demand right here on the Cumberland County Schools Facebook account. Thanks again for watching, and we hope that you have a wonderful and safe evening.